Ralf, you've been here for just over a week. Has it been almost the perfect start? A win and then a game where you're already qualified so you could look at a large amount of your squad?
It definitely was a good start, not only because of the results, but also because of the performances. I could get to know the players even better during training, but also in those 2 games that most of the players got game time with. Yes, as I said, I know them better than I did, obviously, 7 or 8 days ago. And now it's about continuing, build up on what we showed in those 2 games, especially against Crystal Palace. Challenging game coming up tomorrow at Norwich, so it's not an easy game there. With the new manager, they have improved, different style, more direct, more vertical. So we have to be aware that this would not be an easy game to play, but still, if we build up on the performance against Crystal Palace, I still believe that we have a good chance to win the game.
As well as getting to know your players better, in this short period, what have you learnt, do you think, about the club and the job at hand?
Massive club, I knew that before. So many
more so, do you think, given the week? Has it come home to you even more so?
More so. A lot of support from everybody. Everybody has been extremely supportive. And thanks for that again. The fans, outstanding in a game against Young Boys with a completely new starting 11, supporting the team all through the game. Massive support. And again, thank you to the fans. That's been amazing for everybody. And as I said, I was more than surprised by the way that the players were buying into that proactive kind of football, not only in the game but also in training. They were asking questions. They were interested in how and what they should do in which situations. The passing skills, again, if I compare that to Germany, on a higher level. And now it's about making use of that to play as often as possible vertical, not too many square passes, not too many back passes. The goal that we conceded against Young Boys was a good example. We played into their pressing first lane, first zone area, instead of playing the ball into the 2nd or 3rd tier. That was our own mistakes. In fact, we gave the assist to that goal ourselves, and this is something we have to learn and develop upon in the next couple of weeks.
You said that it's going to take me more than 2 weeks to turn these players into my ideas of the pressing, the monster mentality. But would you perhaps almost reassess what you said only a week ago? Are the players better than you thought, perhaps, and also adapting quicker than you thought they might be?
So far, I'm more than happy, again, with their attitude, their eagerness to learn, to get information that will help them to get better. Not only against the ball, also with the ball, but obviously with having had only 2 clean sheets until the Crystal Palace game and having had no clean sheet since last April at Old Trafford. It was for me very clear where our first focus should be for the first couple of days and weeks. If with this group of players we can produce more clean sheets, regularly make sure that we don't concede goals, that we don't even allow them to shoot on our goal, the more I'm convinced that we can win games, because we're always able with this group of players to create opportunities and chances and to score ourselves.
Given what you've seen so far and what you've taken on board of the Premier League, how far ahead are the top 3 clubs, Manchester City, Liverpool and Chelsea?
Right now you just have to have a look at the table, how far they're our way. But I haven't played against them. We will only play against those teams in March or April, so there is a little bit of time. This does not at all mean that the next upcoming games are considered to be any easier. There are no easy games. Manchester United lost against Watford 5 weeks ago, 4-1. So we need to be fully aware of that, and I'm fully aware of that. But again, for me, it's about the next game. The next game is Norwich. After that, the next game is Brentford. After that, it's Brighton. So we need to prepare on each of those games, make sure that we know all the things that are necessary to know about the other teams, but also make sure that we put our full focus on our own performance when they are in possession of the ball as well as when we are in possession of the ball. And it's about the transitional moments that we get better on. It's about winning second balls. This will also be an issue for tomorrow's game because, as I told you, they play more direct balls than they used to do under Daniel Farke, so we need to be aware of that. And then it's about who wins the second balls and who can make use out of those second balls.
You've been around football long enough to know that it's not always happy times. When do you predict the difficult times will come for you?
I don't know. I'm not thinking about the difficult times. I mean, it's not easy anyway, but for me, so far, as I said, the development has been good, better than I thought. I was positively surprised in many aspects. So for me, it's about focus on the next training session, which is in 1 hour, and focus on the next game, which is tomorrow, and then take it from there again.
You're the interim manager here at Manchester United, and often when an interim manager comes in, perhaps players don't look at that position as the same absolute authority as they would a manager. But the fact that you have a position at the club after that period, potentially, do you think that evens things out?
I'm not worried about that at all, to be honest. The players are as ambitious as I am. They want to make the best out of this season. They want to finish up in the top flight if possible. They want to play as long as possible in the FA Cup and even more so in the Champions League. So our ambitions are exactly the same. We want to win games, as many games as possible. And as I told you, we want to win the next game. This is nothing else that the focus has to be exactly on that. How can we make sure that we win the next game?
It's the logical conclusion, though, if you do what you're setting out to do, take it one game at a time and achieving those results, that you would want to be the manager. Because it is an unusual situation you're in, where you might be advising on who the next manager is, but you may well have put yourself in the position of being the best possible candidate.
Yeah, but this is not the time to speak and think about that. I haven't had any thought about that in the past and not now. For me, the focus is on the next game. As I said, the next training session now, the next game. And then there is enough time for the club to decide upon what will happen in the future. Right now, the focus is on the present time.
Also new for you, and I know you're not complaining about it, but what do you make of the football calendar over the Christmas period in England?
Yeah, it's football all over the place. There is not really time for Christmas, maybe 1 or 2 days, but the rest is prepare for the next game. We play Brighton before Christmas, and then on the 27th is Newcastle away. Then I think it's a home game against Burnley. So every 3 days we are playing, which is a new experience to me, because in Germany there is at least a small winter break. No games between Christmas and New Year's Day. So it's a new experience, as I said, but I'm looking forward to it.
Lastly, if there was one single action in either of the games so far that as a coach you've enjoyed the most from any of your players, whether as a group or individually, was there a moment where you thought, yeah, that's what I want to see?
Well, 2 things that stick out in my memory. One was the way that we prepared the goal, not only the way that Fred scored it, but also the way that it was set up over the wing from the right fullback. Then Mason played a perfect ball back into the right foot of Fred. The way that we built up and created that was brilliant. The same with the goal that we scored against Young Boys. And defensively, we had a situation in the first half where Victor Lindelöf won the first ball by marking through. And 2 seconds later, because the ball bounced off into the next lane, he won the ball again. So he had 2 situations in the middle of the other team's half, where as a fullback he marked through, played very proactively defensively and won both balls. And this is exactly the way we want to play in the future.
Very early days, but you look and sound like you're really enjoying this.
I do. Thank you.
Good luck.